This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James, serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Friday, February 21, 2025. National Security Minister defends the JCF amid alarming rise in police fatal shootings. But JFJ insists something is amiss as it describes rise in police fatal shootings as intolerable. Darrell Vaz says he will sue those spreading lies about his family's ownership of a building which housed the SSL's offices. In regional news, Trinidadian woman charged for aiding a man accused of sexually assaulting children. In international news, Israel says series of bus explosions was a terror attack. In sports, young reggae girls begin CONCACAF qualifiers with a 7-star performance. And in business, Donald Trump's remarks about interference in India's election sparks anger. The details after the break.
Outperform, outlast. We top performance. Chakama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Catch the first news of the day, a comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang is seeking to reassure civilians that the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF is not a hit squad. He made the comment amid the alarming increase of police fatal shootings since the start of the year. More in this report from Shalois Michael.
According to the latest update from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, 50 people have been fatally shot by the police since the start of the year. Of that figure, 22 were recorded since the start of February. This is a stark increase when compared to the 22 people who were fatally shot for the first 2 months of 2024. Several groups, including INDECOM and the human rights lobby group Jamaicans for Justice, have expressed concern at the rising number of police killings. But speaking at a recent JCF handing over ceremony, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang sought to put those concerns to rest. He says the force has the necessary resources to identify criminals across the country.
We have provided the resources, not finished. We still have to build stations all over the island, repair some, and others, but was emerging the outgoing commissioner and the support of a team here, and now Commissioner Kevin Blake, have expanded all aspects of the police force. Their intelligence is superior today than what it was before. So they know where the criminals are. This commissioner and his team, supported by the intelligence CIB, know the criminals.
Minister Chang says the special operation formed to nab those suspects is not a hit squad.
Commissioners have initiated a thing called focused deterrence. It's not a hit squad we have here. That's things of the past they can write in history. A structure that identifies individuals who are involved in criminal activity and build the files around them.
Dr. Chang says once those files are built, the JCF's next step is to apprehend those suspects. He says that aspect depends on how those individuals react when they come face to face with the police.
When the case is built, they go for them. And when they hear they're coming, I advise them, please come in. We'll make sure you're treated well and go to the courts. We have a very conservative and a very good court system. We have no problem, but they have to behave themselves. If they don't, we bring them in. If they attack the police, we still bring them in, maybe in another form. But we'll find them as they build out their intelligence, their investigative capacity, and of course their physical capacity.
200 new police vehicles were handed over to the JCF on Wednesday. The fleet includes 121 pickups, 55 SUVs, 8 buses, and 90 motorcycles. The approximately $1.7 billion investment also included essential components such as light bars, siren systems, and smart check devices. Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, human rights lobby group Jamaicans for Justice JFJ is condemning what it describes as the intolerable number of police fatal shootings since the start of the year. JFJ's executive director is Michael Jackson.
The year-to-date total of police fatal shootings more than doubles the figure for the same period in 2024. This sharp increase is deeply concerning and unacceptable in a democracy. If this trend persists, Jamaica risks regressing to the dark days before the establishment of Indicom, when accountability for such incidents was virtually non-existent. If this trend persists, Jamaica risks eroding the gains that we have made since the establishment of Indicom, and certainly the gains that we have made in human rights for the past decade. We cannot allow this rollback of progress to continue unchecked.
Jackson says daily at least one citizen is killed by a member of the security forces. She says JFJ makes no assertions that these incidents are extrajudicial killings. However, she says a common pattern of reporting from the Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom is that there were no body-worn cameras during deadly confrontations between the police and civilians.
We have heard from the JCF leadership that data storage infrastructure is needed to be strengthened to have increased body-worn cameras be procured and deployed. However, we must demand a timeline from the JCF's leadership. We have also been told by the JCF's leadership that 750 body-worn cameras are already deployed and are being utilized. The reasonable question that one should put forward: where are the body-worn cameras in these incidents that have resulted in fatalities? Urgent action is needed to address this crisis and uphold justice and transparency.
Michael Jackson, Executive Director of JFJ. The frequent extension of curfews in the St. Andrew North Division is due to the high levels of violent crime in some communities. That's according to the commanding officer for the St. Andrew North Division, Deputy Superintendent Randy Sweeney.
I know that there are some concerns regarding the implementation of curfews in some communities across the St. Andrew North Division, primarily from the business community. But I'm using this opportunity to remind the public that the police is responsible for protection of life and property. And whenever we identify a particular community to implement curfew, or at least to apply to the Minister of National Security for the implementation of curfew, it's because of the assessment that was done. And we are concerned about the level of violence in these communities.
DSP Sweeney is urging citizens to share with the police any information they may have about criminal activity.
I want to reassure the public that we will be in these communities to serve and protect them. And I'm asking that they continue to support us. One of those ways that they can help is to provide the police with valuable information regarding criminal activities in these spaces. And they can call us at 924-1421, and that's a number for the Constant Spring Police Station, and request to be transferred to CIB or Crime Stop at 311. And just to remind the citizens that this can only help the country in the long term. It will benefit all of us when crime is reduced.
DSP Randy Sweeney, commanding officer for the St. Andrew North Police Division. A taxi operator who pleaded guilty to the death of 5 passengers in a crash in Bluefields, Westmoreland 2 years ago has escaped prison time. 47-year-old Delroy Rodney was given a non-custodial suspended sentence in the Westmoreland Circuit Court on Thursday. Mahir Stewart has the details.
Rodney pleaded guilty to 5 counts of causing death by dangerous driving in November 2023. 5 people were killed after Rodney's taxi, a grey Toyota Noah, collided with a truck on the Bluefields main road on November 13. Police say Rodney was driving his taxi with 6 passengers on board when a vehicle in front of him reportedly slowed down. Rodney swerved and collided with a Sharkman motor truck traveling in the opposite direction on the Bluefields main road. The Noah crashed into a tree. All 6 passengers were rushed to the hospital, where 5 were pronounced dead. The deceased are 15-year-old student Lavicia Forrester and her mother, 39-year-old Petrina Wallace, O'Neill Allen and his mother, 65-year-old Angela Samuel, and 54-year-old Janet Thompson. Rodney was later arrested and charged. He was granted $7 million bail. When he appeared in November last year, Rodney admitted to the charges. The presiding judge had also ordered a social inquiry report for Rodney and a victim impact statement from the relatives of the deceased. During his court reappearance on Thursday, he was sentenced to 18 months imprisonment, suspended for 3 years. He was also ordered to pay the relatives of his 5 victims $500,000 each. The lone survivor of the crash is also to be paid $500,000. Rodney was mandated to pay the total $2.5 million in restitution by the end of March 2025. He's also prevented from obtaining and holding a driver's license for 3 years. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
The MP for West Portland, Darrell Vaz, has rejected allegations being circulated on social media that a member of his family has taken ownership of a building which formerly housed the offices of Embattled Brokerage House, Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL. According to Vaz, the claim is false and politically motivated. Vaz says the building in question was purchased in 2013 by businessman Christopher Borman, the father of his now daughter-in-law. He says that purchase happened over 10 years before Borman's daughter became part of his family.
I've taken note of the lies and misleading information being spread on social media by PNP bloggers who are suggesting impropriety and seeking to involve me in matters concerning the transfer of a building which had housed Stocks and Securities Limited. The fact is, a company owned by prominent businessman Christopher Borman, who is the father of my now daughter-in-law, had owned the building since 2013, well over a decade ago. Mr. Borman bought the building from SSL in 2013. Mr. Borman was the owner of the building many years before his daughter's marriage to my son. After concluding the 2013 purchase, Mr. Borman had leased the building back to the owners of SSL, who were already occupying the building.
Vaz says that the transaction by Borman to transfer the building to his daughter and son was done by a law firm in which the PNP president, Mark Golding, is a partner. He says he will take legal action against those who have been pushing false narratives on social media.
The referenced legitimate transactions have absolutely nothing to do with me. For the record, I heard about them both today, the purchase and the transfer, for the first time via social media when videos and tweets posted by PNP bloggers were brought to my attention. As I have done in the past, I will pursue legal action against any individual who, due to a clear political agenda, uses any platform to seek to just suggest impropriety on my part concerning a legitimate transaction which has nothing to do with me.
Darrell Vaz, MP for West Portland. The Bank of Jamaica BOJ has decided to hold its policy interest rate at 6%, ending a streak of 4 consecutive quarters of reductions. The move was announced on Thursday after the BOJ's Monetary Policy Committee meetings earlier this week. It aims to keep inflation within the target range of 4 to 6% and maintain stability in the foreign exchange market. The BOJ cited stabilizing inflation expectations, a steady exchange rate, and strong employment levels as justification for its decision. However, the decision is likely to frustrate the private sector, which has been calling for more aggressive rate cuts to stimulate economic activity. Business leaders argue that lower borrowing costs are needed to support investment and recovery, especially after economic contractions in late 2024. The BOJ says inflation risks remain tilted to the upside, driven by global economic uncertainties, potential policy changes in the U.S., and adverse weather conditions. The committee cautioned that it could adjust its monetary policy if risks of inflation rising beyond the target materialize. The caucus of JLP councillors in the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, they have called on Mayor Andrew Swaby to resign. Swaby is chairman of the Municipal Corporation and mayor of Kingston. The caucus says it has taken note of what it says is emerging information which contradicts claims from Mayor Swaby that he has been impartial in the distribution of resources and benefits. They say leaked conversations suggest the mayor's administrative team has been instructing PNP caretakers to investigate the political leaning of people who have approached the local authority for taxpayer-funded assistance. The caucus of JLP councillors say the approach is repugnant and contradicts the principles of fairness and impartiality, which the mayor says has characterized his leadership. The councillors say in light of the confirmed review by the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, MOCA, and a raid by another anti-corruption agency, they have lost trust in the leadership of Mayor Swaby. Mayor Swaby has denied that he acted improperly in the distribution of funds. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
Trust, integrity, compliance. These are the pillars of a strong business. And at Dodge & Global, our audit services ensure your financial statements are accurate and reliable. Stay compliant and gain investors' confidence with our expert auditors. Call us today at 876-929-3670 or 876-926-5210. Email us at info@dodgen.global. Visit us at dodgen.global. Dodge & Global, smarter and more effective decisions.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news. In Trinidad and Tobago, a woman appeared before the court charged with obstruction of justice alongside a man who allegedly raped a 10-year-old child. The woman, whose name is being withheld to protect the child, and the man appeared in court on Wednesday. The woman is accused of trying to coerce the child into not cooperating with the police. The man was also charged with the sexual penetration of a minor at his home. The Trinidad Express newspaper is reporting that the offense allegedly occurred between November 18 and 22, 2024. It was also alleged that the man intentionally exposed a 14-year-old to pornography between August 1 and 31 last year. Both the man and woman have been offered bail. International, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he has ordered the military to conduct an intense operation against terror hubs in the West Bank after a series of explosions on 3 parked buses that authorities said was a suspected terrorist attack. No injuries were reported. The explosions on Thursday happened on a day when Israel was grieving after Hamas returned the bodies of 4 hostages from Gaza as part of a ceasefire deal. The bus explosions were reminiscent of bombings during the Palestinian uprising of the 2000s, but such attacks are now rare. Explosives were found on 2 other buses, but did not detonate. Israeli police said the 5 bombs were identical and equipped with timers, and bomb squads were defusing the unexploded bombs. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
Deposit we have insurance. It's an account that come with assurance. Let me teach you why it's important to have deposit insurance. Just in case your bank crash dead, no need to put your hands by your head. Up to 1.2 million you get for all accounts that's affected. Yeah, one room you can start it, or throw a house party. Pay your mortgage with ease. JDIC is a smart win. Deposit we bring safety. JDIC them protect me. Bank and billing society protected. The flow you must get with. Protect your savings smart. We urging you to call me. Guarantee you need us. We take banking serious.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Yo, my boss. Yo, my general. Yo, my king. The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. Plus crispy bacon, some stark-rific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, satisfy yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker. Built for satisfaction. Limited time. Only at Burger King.
Time now for your morning sports. Jamaica's national Under-20 Reggae Girls opened their campaign in the CONCACAF Under-20 World Cup qualifiers with a 7-0 win over St. Vincent and the Grenadines in Nicaragua on Thursday. Alyssa Stevenson scored a hat-trick, while there were goals from Avery Johnson, Maya Raghanandan, Jalia Cox-McPherson and Andreen Smith. The young Reggae Girls will be back in action on Saturday against St. Kitts and Nevis at 4 p.m. Minister of Sport Olivia Grange agrees that cricket is on the decline in Jamaica and the Caribbean. Speaking at the launch of the Melbourne Cricket Club Pure Water 5K Run Walk, Minister Grange says the government, through the Minister of Sports, remains committed to changing that reality.
Mr. Nita mentioned earlier that cricket is on the decline. And I just want to say that to an extent. However, we have a responsibility, and the JSA has signaled that they recognize that responsibility. And as minister, I'm signaling also that we as a government, and certainly me as a minister, must ensure that we build back cricket in this region. And we have to start at home. They say Parcel Christen in Picnifoss. And that is why we have committed 100 million over 3 years to work closely with the JCA and other interests in cricket to do programs starting at the basic school level. We have to teach our kids to just bat and bowl, and through to the primary school level and working with ISA at the high school level. And even in the communities, we have to build back. And not just the men, the women.
Olivia Grange, Minister of Sport. President of the Jamaica Boxing Association, Stephen Jones, is excited about Saturday's fight card at Stanley Couch Gym. The tournament, which is being staged under the banner of the Gloves Over Guns Futures Initiative, will feature 2 professional fights and 9 amateur bouts.
The momentum that we ended the year with was very encouraging. So the fact that we have all areas covered now in terms of the grassroots, going to the elite boxers, to the professionals, and have a platform that everybody's excited for is, like I said, very encouraging, and we are excited, and we're expecting a very good show this Saturday.
Jones says that the amateur bouts will also feature high school boxers.
What's going to especially finally come out of the Futures program, these monthly shows, is the inclusion of more and more high school boxers, more and more boxers representing their high schools. So yes, we have the grassroots, right, boxers, the novice boxers. We have boxers from Penwood High School going up against Irving High School, and they actually have asked to represent their schools. And so we'll start off with the novice category with a high school feel to it. And the goal is to at least highlight at least 2 schools each month. And then from there, we're going to our more experienced amateurs, those that would want to be on the road to the 2028 Olympics, but on the way to the elite box that we have, those that have 5 fights or more. We'll use this platform as well to monthly increase their activity.
Stephen Jones, the president of the Jamaica Boxing Association, wrapping up your morning sports.
JANAC Global Accreditation, promoting consumer confidence, facilitating market access through internationally accepted accreditation and training services. Accreditation, your visa for global access. Accredited once, accepted everywhere. Call JANAC Global Accreditation at 876-968-7790 or visit our website at www.janac.gov.jm.
Apply to work in the next general election. Visit your EOJ constituency office or apply online at ecj.com.jm. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, committed to free and fair elections.
In business this morning, a comment from U.S. President Donald Trump that his country spent $21 million to boost voter turnout in India's elections has triggered a political slugfest in the country. The BBC is reporting that he made the remark days after a team led by Elon Musk said it had cancelled the payout as part of its crackdown on a U.S. agency providing foreign aid. India's governing BJP called the payout an external interference and accused the opposition Congress Party of seeking this intervention. The Congress denied the allegation, calling Trump's claims nonsensical. The U.S. has not provided any evidence to support its claim. Trump vowed to boost the U.S. economy, and soon after returning to office, he created the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, led by Musk, to slash federal spending and jobs. Musk says DOGE's mission is to save taxpayer money and cut national debt. One of its biggest moves, now making global headlines, is a crackdown on USAID, the U.S. agency overseeing humanitarian aid since the 1960s. Musk, who has called USAID a criminal organization, announced on Sunday that funding for several projects had been cancelled. The cuts include $486 million for the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, with $21 million for voter turnout in India and $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova. Defending Doge's cuts, Trump said India had a lot of money and was among the world's highest taxing nations. A meeting between Chinese President Xi Jinping and some of the country's foremost business leaders this week has fueled excitement and speculation after Alibaba founder Jack Ma was pictured at the event. The charismatic and colorful Ma, who was one of China's most prominent businessmen, had withdrawn from public life after criticizing China's financial sector in 2020. Now, his reappearance at Monday's event has sparked a wave of discussion with experts and analysts wondering what it means for him, China's tech sector, and the economy in general. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. Tech stocks, including those of Alibaba, rallied soon after the event. On Thursday, the e-commerce giant reported financial results that beat expectations, with shares ending the trading day in New York more than 8% higher. The company's shares are up 60% since the beginning of the year. Finally, now in foreign exchange trading, the Jamaican dollar has gained 24 cents and will open trading today, selling for an average $158.17 against the benchmark U.S. dollar. The Jamaican dollar has lost $1.63 and will open trading today, selling for an average $113.36 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican has lost $1.10 and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $198.72 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:30.
If them a hide and a bribe, you know we not sleep. Extortion them want, you know that not keep. Fight against corruption, turn up the heat. Load up the kickback and fraud when you see it. Anti-corruption, join in the fight. Let's come together and make this right. When you see wrong, you feel open your mouth. Now there's a new avenue for speak out. We need a reduction. Make we fight against corruption.
The Integrity Commission is working towards Jamaica, where there's integrity, accountability, and transparency in public service, where acts of corruption by persons in public office will be investigated and dealt with transparency and accountability. Stand with us in the fight against corruption. Call the Integrity Commission Anti-Corruption Hotline 876-926-0001.
Make we fight against corruption.
Wagwan Jamaica, the Cove Side Concert Series got a combo for you. Pay $20,000 and attend 2 big concerts. First one drop. Saturday, February 22nd, Barrington Levy Grams Morgan, Luciano, and Dance Expression. The same ticket gets you to Timeless, Saturday, March 29. You get to see Dionne Warwick, Myrna Hague, Dwayne Stevens, and Queen Marcia Griffith. We've got a Cove Side combo deal for you. Saturday, February 22nd, Barrington Levy Grams Morgan, Luciano. Then Timeless with Dionne Warwick, Myrna Hague, Dwayne Stevens, and our Queen Marcia Griffiths. The Cove Side Concert Series.
Tickets at coveside.aitis
at Plantation Cove, St. Anne, Jamaica.
When last you get good bun, you don't know good bun until you have a mother's bakery bun. From you pull up the wrapper and it's soft so till. A so bun for nice. And from when you take the first bite, love it so till. A so bun for nice. Beg your piece.
Get your own mother's bakery bun.
I will buy one off you.
Yes, but I will charge a convenience fee.
I will take one. Me too. Mother's bakery buns. A so bun for nice. Try them today.
Jamaica, we are on the road to Republic. The Constitution Amendment Republic Act 2024 has been tabled, taking us one step closer to a future with our own Jamaican head of state. Read the bill and track its progress at roadtorepublic.mlca.gov.jm. Your voice matters. Get involved and stay informed. Join the journey and let's walk this road together. The Republic starts with you.
A young, lovable, huggable type of guy. And everything is to the back with a little slack. Cause inside out is wicked and wicked and wicked and whack. I come stomping with something pumping to keep you jumping. R&B, rapping, bull crap is what I'm dumping. Ain't nothing soft about crisscross, we all act. So when they ask, do they rock? Say believe it. Jump, jump. The Mac Dad'll make ya. Jump, jump. A Daddy Mac will make ya. Jump, jump. Crisscross will make ya. Jump, jump. Jump, jump. The Mac Dad'll make ya.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me. When I'm mind too rhyme and too hype, it feels good when you know you're down. A super dope homeboy from the Oak Town, and I'm known as such. And this is a beat you can't touch. I told you, homeboy, you can't touch this. Yeah, that's how we living, and you know you can't touch this. Look in my eyes, man, you can't touch this. Yo, let me bust the funky lyrics. Fresh new kicks and bands, you got it like that. Now you know you wanna dance, so move out of your seat and get a fire girl and catch this beat while it's rolling. Hold on, pump a little bit and let them know what's going on like that. Like that. Hold on a minute, just don't fall on back. Let them know that you're too much. And this is a beat they can't touch. Yo, I told you can't touch this. Why you standing there, man? You can't touch this. Yo, sound the bell, school is in, sucker. You can't touch this. Give me a song or rhythm, making them sweat. That's what I'm giving them now. They know. You talk about the hammer, you're talking about a show that's hyped and tight. Singles are sweating so fast, them a whiteboard tape. To learn what it's gonna take in the 90s to burn the charts. Legit. Either work hard or you might as well quit. That's word because you know you can't touch this. You can't touch this. Break it down.
Give me an F. Give me an R. Give me an I. Give me a D. Give me an A. Give me a Y. Why should I give you a Y? It's Friday. Good morning, Tona.
Hey to you, George.
Listen, man.
Happy Friday.
Before you say anything. There's a man in the chat named Greg Hansen. Greg, you may have nothing this morning here, sir. If me not have no shirt, we must tell him so he can donate one to me, so I should take off this garbage. Greg, leave me on my shirt alone in the name of the Almighty. Greg.
What's your team, Greg?
I hope when you go in your pantry later, you find weevil in your flour, Greg. You understand? Hope your rice have some fine stew tonight. Greg, I hope ants take up your sugar. Okay, Greg, leave me alone, Greg, in Jesus' name, amen.
Greg, what is your team? What is your team, Greg?
Greg, go on and leave. And Trisha first join him tomorrow. I agree, Greg. Trisha, I hope salt in your milk. All right?
Good morning to all of you. Good morning. It is a beautiful Friday here in Kingston City. Friday, February 21, 2025. Happy to have all of you joining us in the chat. Hello to you. If you're out there in Radio Land, hello to you as well. Good morning. Again, happy Friday.
Excellent morning. Tona, I really wanted to play a couple songs from the other day, but of course the days weren't right because, Mondays to Thursdays, business days, The other day we were talking about, it may have been Wednesday morning or Monday morning, and Carleen Smith was remarking, Lord George, you make the morning so heavy. I'm always about Carleen, sometimes, I know we determine the issues,
Yes.
You know, we just comment on the issues, and if the issue is heavy, the issue is heavy. Yeah, but when we have a little break, we can take an opportunity to,
Yes.
So one of our foremost artists, Tona, our foremost DJs, one of the best of all time. Say Glenn now, George Davis stomach strong to be wearing that shirt in public. Glenn. You see how much time I talk to you, Glenn? All right. So one of our foremost artists, Tona. creativity. Remember we were talking about dancehall music one morning, and I was telling you that day. It was when you weren't here. We were talking with Curly Locks.
Oh, no.
You were off that morning, right? But creativity is a thing that is gone from our music. Everybody now wants to sound the same. Everybody tries to make the music the same way, to do it the same way. That wasn't so for many years as dancehall established itself. So one of our foremost entertainers did 2 songs which were so different in the terms of the style. Remarkable. It became hits, and they cemented his place, in my mind at least, as if you're going to write a top 10 list of DJs, which you can't write because you're going to leave out so many great DJs.
Yeah.
But this man, in my top 10, his place is secure. Run the first one and then Mr. King.
Sir, I want you. You get mad?
Mad. Shut. Look how fun. Yeah. Lord. Lord, I can't take it no more. Give me money, woman, you give me before. Lord, I can't take it no more. Give me money, woman, you give me. After half, I take off a girl with some. Love over me and then take it for fun. Then we go back and we go talk to Blossom and she got left me too long money now run. Searching for a girl and we couldn't get none. When we find one, she said we have a pay down. Now we confused and we don't know if it's down and I'm going to come back and go and you kids down. Lord.
Did he say half pint took away with girls?
Half pint of that tune name win some. Yeah? So if you say half pint take away girl win some. Mr. King, squeeze please more Mr. King. Squeeze it again, Mr. King. Please, from the top, Mr. King.
Sir, I want you. You get mad?
Mad. Shut. Look how fun. Yeah. Lord. Lord, I can't take it no more. Give me money, woman, you give me before. Lord, I can't take it no more. Give me money, woman, you give me. After half, I take off a girl with some. Love over me and then take it for fun. Then we go back and we go talk to Blossom and she got left me too long money now run. Searching for a girl and we couldn't get none. When we find one, she said we have a pay down. Now we confused and we don't know if it's down and I'm going to come back and go and you kids down. Lord, we can't take it no more. Give me money, woman, you give me before. Lord, we can't take it no more. Because I'm regret to be very sore. The first girl gone and them say for me fault. And the rest of them when they do it to assault. If we just go and just hear what you say. You think we just sit down and balls out of them. I wish I could have turned on the hands of time. Only that alone could have make me feel fine. Only God knows that we really need help. And the reason why we are crying, you don't want to kill myself. Lord, we can't take it no more.
Alright, Mr. King. Alright, Mr. King. So that was.
I've seen a Snagapus reference.
No, that's not Snagapus.
Yeah, I know. You
Yeah.
said it's Papa's son.
Yeah.
That's somebody. Doesn't Snugger have sound like this a little bit?
No, Snagger's original sound was made of the cartoon character Snagglepuss. Yoy, Tona, good morning. Yeah. So he did a
sounds
song
like
in that one. All right.
Yeah.
Here's this other one from Papa San now.
You tell mommy say, you say, Mr. Get this guy, Grace and Eve in the room, and get them on the light, and use the carry is 1,000 alternatively, and not take disadvantage of me. Move here, the one that big lie. You go talk, me I go talk about honor, and me I go tell mommy everything you do, me I go talk, about honor, and me I go tell mommy everything you do, you stick your finger in the ears and you will long out the tongue and go and talk man you. And the time moment comes, send a thief for the money and go buy bubble gum and no eat out the sweet and don't give me none. When I not get none, no when Christmas come, and daddy see a meal when I get water gun, and mommy now go buy another little win some because win some get beaten up with thief June plum. I go and talk, I go and talk for honor, and me I go tell mommy everything you do, me I go talk yeah, you talk for honor, and me I go tell mommy everything you do. Cut I can't take me into, and penny can buy my shoe. A bigger Janetta you me I talk to. A good make a go and tell me mommy find you.
All right, fit.
Oh.
No, he said do. So, but it's morning readers. But yeah. So, you see, Tona, that was when.
Oh, why Janet I get straight?
Yes.
We get Janet. Oh my gosh.
We didn't, our DJs did not want to sound like anybody else. They wanted to be original,
Brilliant.
a premium on originality.
Yeah, that's amazing storytelling in music.
Absolutely. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. That's Naga, no?
No, this is Tiger. This is the height of originality. Nobody sounded like this, and this was his sound. Zebra pirated it later on, but this was Norman Washington Jackson.
Isn't there anything from Snagga?
We'll give you Snagga, man. We'll give you something from Snagga.
Oh, yeah, I know this.
What kind of money them spend? Yen. 549, I really want it. Hey. So me and your teeth so money. When?
She.
Come again.
Where the cat in a London name? Big Bay.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, I remember this.
So these were the jukebox days.
Yeah,
you go with your 10 cent or your punch,
Mhm.
or your punch win by Tiger.
Yeah.
Play till the record scratch. You have something from Snagga King? Yeah? You want it, Snagga?
Yes.
Here we go.
New dance again. It named Tati, and I around the whole residence. Originate by the most passing, my friends. Come now, passing. Hugging now. It's against the law.
Yeah, them not see. I have to do it again.
That good. That
no,
good.
I have to do it again.
If you can do the
Tati
Tati dance, step aside and give Snagga a chance. Yeah, Tati, watch your rude boy. Me said them a do the Tati. Watch your girls them. Yeah, I can do the Tati. Watch Miss Fatty and the one Miss Hattie. Everybody come. Yeah, I can do the Tati. Damn. Me I go tell you how you do the Tati. Then you back like and you a dance.
I'm getting so yawned.
Yeah, so I was explaining to you. There's a cartoon
I love
character. A cartoon character from maybe from certainly from the 70s, named the Snagglepuss.
Yeah.
So that's how he got his name, Snaggapuss. So the Snagglepuss was
Yeah.
a part of the cartoons. Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Yeah.
God knows.
Can you tell you?
You got to move on the rhythm.
This was the only dance I could do.
You're gonna
That I can do very well. The only one.
new dance, you're being fine again. I on the street and the lane and road the pen. World dance is the name and the title. Dubai they done the devil blind and the cripple and I don't know why black wizard love it so. And a limbo roses fine and use them. Brand new dance, I worry have a mad. I kill all of them roses fine and use them. A world of dance, we come to teach them.
The Ministry of Justice offers free counseling to victims of crime. Call 876-946-0663. The time by the Ministry of Justice is
6:40. They said the DJ mixing bad. Bad.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Hello, Jamaica. Are you ready for the Coveside Concert Series? Well, here we go. One Drop, Saturday, February 22nd, featuring Barrington Levy, Grams Morgan, Luciano, and Dance Expression. Tickets are at Fesco, Chicken and Things, Bramwell, Texaco, Sharkies, and Plantation Smokehouse. Showtime is 7 p.m. One Drop, Saturday, February 22nd, Barrington Levy, Grams Morgan, Luciano, Plantation Cove, St. Anne.
Tickets at coveside.aitis.com.
JANA Global Accreditation, promoting consumer confidence, facilitating market access through internationally accepted accreditation and training services. Accreditation, your visa for global access. Accredited once, accepted everywhere. Call JANA Global Accreditation at 876-968-7790 or visit our website at www.janac.gov.jm.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Time now for Street Smarts 1 with Ludlow McLean on the wheels of steel. Ludlow, you remember way back in the day when Tiger dropped to win and I run the place with it?
Yes. Can't have that again, eh?
Tell you, boy.
The days of tea are all kind of different days, eh?
Yeah, man.
It's cloudy. It's a cloudy morning, not overcast. By the way, there were some showers yesterday, brief showing, mainly like in New Kingston and the Kingston 5, Kingston, maybe some parts of Half a Tree, around Bay Farm Road in that area, the Waterhouse there. There was some rain, but not everywhere, though, I can tell you. Not everywhere. Those of you on the eastern side, I don't think there was any rain that side, like Harborview and all of that, and even over Portmore. But what's happening now? The roadways are busy. But for Friday, I would say it's not too bad. There's good vehicle movement in most of the busy areas. If you're coming out the Manor Park area there, coming out Old Stony Hill Road, going through Manor Park. Yes, it's busy coming through to get to Constant Spring Square. Making that turn onto Olivia Road, it's steady all the way up to Shortwood, across to Shortwood Road, and going further down to that intersection of Shortwood and up to Waterloo, and then going across the Constant Spring Road, then onto Constant Spring Road, going further down all the way, the 4 lanes going through to the vicinity of the shopping centers, and it's as busy Half a Tree Square as usual. Going across Half a Tree Road, it's also steady, going all the way down to Oxford Road, and then from there you're going past Beechwood Avenue, Retirement Road into the Crossroads area, where you'll see some traffic there, but it's not as bad as the 4 mornings. All right, so it's not too bad. But those of you coming from the western side, as usual, remember, as you get onto that Mandela Highway, you're going to find it busy. And from there to 6 miles, and from 6 miles to Spanish Town Road, that's where it is. The bulk of the traffic really is. And from there to Washington Boulevard. But there are gaps along Washington Boulevard, I must remind. So it's going to build as the morning progresses. So let's see what happens from 718. But there are other areas that will have vehicular traffic and busy intersections until 718. Back to you, George, in the studios.
Thank you very much, Ludlow. Ludlow McLean there with the first Street Smarts report. Up next, Word of the Day.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Your word of the day spelled ECHOLALIA, spelled ECHOLALIA.
Echolalia. Echolalia. Echolalia.
Echolalia is your word of the day. It's a noun, echolalia, meaning the imitation of sounds by babies as they learn to talk. Echolalia is your word of the day. First recorded between 1880 and 1885. To use it in a sentence, the baby's echolalia delighted her parents as she mimicked their laughter. Echolalia is your word of the day. Definition again. the imitation of sounds by babies as they learn to talk.
Quick story, echolalia. There's a champion footballer, Kaká. His name Ricardo, but his little baby brother couldn't say Ricardo when he heard Ricardo, so he said Kaká, Kaká, Kaká. So his footballer's name became Kaká.
Oh, look at that. Echolalia. You might have reasons to use this one. Up next, your features at the top of the hour, the news.
If you have children, you know maintaining peace in your household can be difficult. 1 minute your children are getting along, and the next minute they're at each other's throats. However, knowing when and how to intervene can make a difference in how your children relate to each other. Find out what you can do to manage sibling rivalry. In Parenting Tips today, tips for dealing with sibling rivalry. The first step in making feuds between siblings more manageable is understanding their causes. Children don't fight just because one toy is better or one piece of cake is bigger. Instead, the majority of fights arise due to underlying causes such as birth order and family dynamics. Competing desires for your attention and differences in developmental stages can lead to moments of jealousy or misunderstanding. Rivalry can even affect children as they get older with their self-esteem and even their friendships. Most of these causes, like age difference or temperament, are impossible to change. That makes sibling rivalry, unfortunately, inevitable. The following are 5 tips, according to Cleveland Clinic, for conflict prevention among children. Stay calm, quiet, and in control. Pay attention to what your children are doing so you can intervene before a situation begins or escalates. Keep your cool and your children will learn to do the same. Create a cooperative environment. Avoid comparing your children, favoring one over the other, or encouraging competition between them. Instead, create opportunities for cooperation and compromise. Don't forget to set a good example too. How parents interact with one another sets an example for how their children should interact. Celebrate individuality. Children are less likely to fight if they feel you appreciate each of them as an individual. Start by avoiding labels and let each child know that they're special to you by spending time with them individually. If one child loves to run around outside, grab your sneakers and soak up the sunshine with them. If the other child likes to spend time reading their favorite book, snuggle up next to them. Then, make sure that everyone has the space and time they need to be alone. Plan fun family time. Family dinners, playing board games, spending time at the park, and doing activities are a great way for children to bond and share positive memories together. These moments give children less incentive to pick fights with each other and gives them an opportunity to spend more time with you. Treat children fairly, not equally. For parents, fairness is essential, but fair doesn't always mean equal. Punishments and rewards should be tailored to your children's individual needs. For example, you don't have to give 2 children the same toy. Instead, give them different toys suited to their ages and interests. That kind of fairness will go a long way. Siblings will fight no matter what. However, the problem-solving techniques you teach them now will serve them well as they grow older in their day-to-day lives. That's it for Parenting Tips today.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
Every couple should have a planned date night to add a little spice to the relationship. Hi, I'm Tana, and these are your lifestyle pages. When money is tight and the working hours are long, we hardly have time, so here are a few tips for date night at home. Number 1, make a meal with chocolate featured in every course. Divide the course and surprise each other. Choose a theme and center everything you do around it. Number 2, a living room campout. Set it up like a camp but without the bonfire, guys. Number 3, create a do-it-yourself photo shoot. Just get creative with that one. And lastly, a slumber party. Make a cozy spot for you and your spouse on the living room floor. It's a little silly, but super fun and makes us enjoy the little things in life. I'm Tana, and those were your lifestyle pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston Normal Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
the most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 today, Friday, February 21, 2025, National Security Minister defends the JCF amid alarming rise in police fatal shootings. But JFJ insists something is amiss as it describes rise in police fatal shootings as intolerable. Daryl Vaz says he will sue those spreading lies about his family's ownership of a building which housed SSL's offices. And in international news, Israel says a series of bus explosions was a terror attack.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details, and we start with a developing story because Nationwide News understands that there was a serious motor vehicle crash along the Marcus Garvey Drive in Kingston. It's understood that the crash involved a Toyota motor truck and 4 motorcycles. We're seeing pictures of the motorcycles strewn on the roadway and the bodies of 3 men. It is a horrendous scene. The motorcycles smashed and the bus looks as if it was a bus with Kingston Wharves Limited is written on the side of the bus, so it appears as if it's a staff bus transporting staff members to the Kingston Wharves for duties, and there was a collision between that bus transporting Kingston Wharves staffers and 4 motorcycles transporting 4 men, and the men came out the worst, and we're seeing bodies on the floor. Not quite sure about the fatality numbers just yet, but as we get that information we will give it to you. So serious motor vehicle crash along the Marcus Garvey Drive in Kingston involving a Toyota coaster bus, not a truck, a Toyota coaster bus and 4 motorcycles, and it appears that there may very well be casualties to report. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang is seeking to reassure civilians that the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is not a hit squad. He made the comment amid the alarming increase in the number of police fatal shootings since the start of the year. We have more in this report from Shalois Michael.
According to the latest update from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, 50 people have been fatally shot by the police since the start of the year. Of that figure, 22 were recorded since the start of February. This is a stark increase when compared to the 22 people who were fatally shot for the first 2 months of 2024. Several groups, including INDECOM and the human rights lobby group Jamaicans for Justice, have expressed concern at the rising number of police killings. But speaking at a recent JCF handing over ceremony, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang sought to put those concerns to rest. He says the force has the necessary resources to identify criminals across the country.
We have provided the resources, not finished. We have stopped to build stations all over the island, Pearson and others, but was emerging the outgoing commissioner and the support of a team here who are now Commissioner Kevin Blake have expanded all aspects of the police force. Their intelligence is superior today than what it was before. So they know where the criminals are. This commissioner and his team, supported by the intelligence CIB, know the criminals.
Minister Chang says the special operation formed to nab those suspects is not a hit squad.
Commissioners have initiated a thing called focused deterrence. It's not a hit squad we have here. That's things of the past they can write in history. A structure that identifies individuals who are involved in criminal activity and build the files around them.
Dr. Chang says once those files are built, The JCF's next step is to apprehend those suspects. He says that aspect depends on how those individuals react when they come face to face with the police.
When the case is built, they go for them. And when they hear they're coming, I advise them, please come in. We'll make sure you're treated well and go to the courts. We have a very conservative and a very good court system. We have no problem, but they have to behave themselves. If they don't, we bring them in. If they attack the police, we still bring them in, maybe in another form. But we'll find them as they build out their intelligence, their investigative capacity, and of course, their physical capacity.
200 new police vehicles were handed over to the JCF on Wednesday. The fleet includes 121 pickups, 55 SUVs, 8 buses, and 90 motorcycles. The approximately $1.7 billion investment also included essential components such as light bars, siren systems, and smart check devices. Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, human rights lobby group Jamaicans for Justice is condemning what it describes as the intolerable number of police fatal shootings since the start of the year. JFJ's executive director is Michael Jackson.
The year-to-date total of police fatal shootings more than doubles the figure for the same period in 2024. This sharp increase is deeply concerning and unacceptable in a democracy. If this trend persists, Jamaica risks regressing to the dark days before the establishment of INDECOM, when accountability for such incidents was virtually non-existent. If this trend persists, Jamaica risks eroding the gains that we have made since the establishment of INDECOM, and certainly the gains that we have made in human rights for the past decade. We cannot allow this rollback of progress to continue unchecked.
Jackson says daily, at least one citizen is killed by a member of the security forces. She says JFJ is not asserting that these incidents are extrajudicial killings. However, she says a common pattern of reporting from the Independent Commission of Investigations is that there were no body-worn cameras during the deadly confrontations between the police and civilians.
We have heard from the JCF leadership that data storage infrastructure is needed to be strengthened to have increased body-worn cameras be procured and deployed. However, we must demand a timeline from the JCF's leadership. We have also been told by the JCF's leadership that 750 body-worn cameras are already deployed and are being utilized. The reasonable question that one should put forward: where are the body-worn cameras in these incidents that have resulted in fatalities? Urgent action is needed to address this crisis and uphold justice and transparency.
Michael Jackson, Executive Director of JFJ. The frequent extension of curfews in the St. Andrew North Division is due to the high levels of violent crime in some communities. That's according to the commanding officer for the St. Andrew North Division, Deputy Superintendent Randy Sweeney.
I know that there are some concerns regarding the implementation of curfews in some communities across the St. Andrew North Division, primarily from the business community. But I'm using this opportunity to remind the public that the police is responsible for protection of life and property. And whenever we identify a particular community to implement curfew, or at least to apply to the Ministry of National Security for the implementation of curfew, it's because of the assessment that was done. And we are concerned about the level of violence in these communities.
DSP Sweeney is urging residents to share with the police any information they may have about criminal activity.
I want to reassure the public that we will be in these communities to serve and protect them. And I'm asking that they continue to support us. And one of those ways that they can help is to provide the police with valuable information regarding criminal activities in these spaces. And they can call us at 924-1421, and that's a number for the Constant Spring Police Station, and request to be transferred to CIB or Crime Stop at 311. And just to remind the citizens that this can only help the country in the long term. It will benefit all of us when crime is reduced.
DSP Randy Sweeney, commanding officer for the St. Andrew North Division. A taxi operator who pleaded guilty to the death of 5 passengers in a crash in Bluefields, Westmoreland 2 years ago has escaped prison time. 47-year-old Delroy Rodney was given a non-custodial suspended sentence in the Westmoreland Circuit Court on Thursday. Mahiri Stewart has the details.
Rodney pleaded guilty to 5 counts of causing death by dangerous driving in November 2023. 5 people were killed after Rodney's taxi, a grey Toyota Noah, collided with a truck on the Bluefields main road on November 13. Police say Rodney was driving his taxi with 6 passengers on board when a vehicle in front of him reportedly slowed down. Rodney swerved and collided with a Sharkman motor truck traveling in the opposite direction on the Bluefields main road. The Noah crashed into a tree. All 6 passengers were rushed to the hospital, where 5 were pronounced dead. The deceased are 15-year-old student Lavicia Forrester and her mother, 39-year-old Petrina Wallace, O'Neill Allen and his mother, 65-year-old Angela Samuel, and 54-year-old Janet Thompson. Rodney was later arrested and charged. He was granted $7 million bail. When he appeared in November last year, Rodney admitted to the charges. The presiding judge had also ordered a social inquiry report for Rodney and a victim impact statement from the relatives of the deceased. During his court reappearance on Thursday, he was sentenced to 18 months imprisonment, suspended for 3 years. He was also ordered to pay the relatives of his 5 victims $500,000 each. The lone survivor of the crash is also to be paid $500,000. Rodney was mandated to pay the total $2.5 million in restitution by the end of March 2025. He's also prevented from obtaining and holding a driver's license for 3 years. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
The MP for West Portland, Daryl Vaz, has rejected allegations being circulated on social media that a member of his family has taken ownership of a building which formerly housed the offices of Embattled Brokerage House, Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL. According to Vaz, the claim is false and politically motivated. Vaz says the building in question was purchased in 2013 by a businessman, Christopher Borman, the father of his now daughter-in-law. Vaz says that purchase happened over 10 years before Borman's daughter became part of his family.
I have taken note of the lies and misleading information being spread on social media by PNP bloggers who are suggesting impropriety and seeking to involve me in matters concerning the transfer of a building which had housed Stocks and Securities Limited. The fact is, a company owned by prominent businessman Christopher Borman, who is the father of my now daughter-in-law, had owned the building since 2013, well over a decade ago. Mr. Borman bought the building from SSL in 2013. Mr. Borman was the owner of the building many years before his daughter's marriage to my son. After concluding the 2013 purchase, Mr. Borman had leased the building back to the owners of SSL who were already occupying the building.
Vaz says the transaction by Borman to transfer the building to his daughter and son was done by a law firm in which the PNP president Mark Golding is a partner. He says he will take legal action against those who have been pushing false narratives on social media.
The referenced legitimate transactions have absolutely nothing to do with me. For the record, I heard about them both today, the purchase and the transfer, for the first time via social media when videos and tweets posted by PNP bloggers were brought to my attention. As I have done in the past, I will pursue legal action against any individual who, due to a clear political agenda, uses any platform to seek to suggest impropriety on my part concerning a legitimate transaction which has nothing to do with me.
Daryl Vaz, MP for West Portland. The Bank of Jamaica BOJ has decided to hold its policy interest rate at 6%, ending a streak of 4 consecutive quarters of reductions. The move was announced on Thursday after the BOJ's Monetary Policy Committee met earlier this week. It aims to keep inflation within the target range of 4 to 6% and maintain stability in the foreign exchange market. The BOJ cited stabilizing inflation expectations, a steady exchange rate, and strong employment levels as justification for its decision. However, the decision is likely to frustrate the private sector, which has been calling for more aggressive rate cuts to stimulate economic activity. Business leaders argue that lower borrowing costs are needed to support investment and recovery, especially after economic contractions in late 2024. The BOJ says inflation risks remain tilted to the upside, driven by global economic uncertainties, potential policy changes in the United States, and adverse weather conditions. The Monetary Policy Committee cautioned that it could adjust its monetary policy if risks of inflation rise beyond the target. Overseas news now. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he has ordered the military to conduct an intense operation against terror hubs in the West Bank after a series of explosions on 3 parked buses that authorities said was a suspected terrorist attack. No injuries were reported. The explosions on Thursday happened on a day when Israel was grieving after Hamas returned the bodies of 4 hostages from Gaza as part of a ceasefire deal. The bus explosions were reminiscent of bombings during the Palestinian uprising of the 2000s, but such attacks are now rare. Explosives were found on 2 other buses, but those did not detonate. Israeli police say the 5 bombs were identical and equipped with timers, and the bomb squads were defusing the unexploded bombs. That's the news.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:16.
Fix up with Fleetwood products for your home improvement, personal care, and aromatherapy needs. They have your well-being in mind. Available at retailers island-wide. The temperature by Fleetwood Jamaica is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
At Active Home Center, we've got everything you need to create that perfect spa retreat. From comfort height toilets to the widest selection in faucets and shower enclosures to stylish tubs and the latest trends in bathroom cabinets in various sizes. Our bathroom collection has the perfect fit for every space and every budget. Your relaxing retreat starts here. Visit our showroom in Kingston at 84 Compton Spring Road or Montego Bay at Barnett Tech Park. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
In this uncertain U.S. immigration climate, you need expert guidance you can trust. The Consular Queen LLC handles visas, waivers, petitions, and more, making immigration stress-free. Don't navigate the process alone. Get professional support today. Call 470-593-8448 now. That's 470-593-8448. The Consular Queen. Unite families, change lives. 470-593-8448. Secure your future today. Payroll processing giving you angina? Complete your payroll in just 15 minutes with ICOPay. ICOPay is an efficient payroll software that simplifies payroll processing and returns for businesses of all sizes. Features includes SO1 and SO2 filings, online salary deposits, payslip distribution via email, and many more. It's Jamaica's best-selling payroll solution. Visit ICOPayJA.com for a demo. Follow at ICOPayJA or call or WhatsApp at 876-333-5809.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Yeah, morning, George, again, and to our listeners, our motoring public, and also the commuters. And let me also tell our visitors a special good morning to you. And if you've enjoyed it, give us some good reviews once you're back to your domicile. And welcome. We welcome you all the time. But guess what happened now? Marcus Garvey Drive. Something is happening along Marcus Garvey Drive. Well, I got 2 bits of information that the tagline is not functioning. I don't know if the machines or the equipment are not working on that tagline. So
Ludlow, we understand there was a motor vehicle crash involving 4 motorcycles and a Toyota Coaster bus. Yes, sir.
Okay, but my information is also saying that the tagline, the manual line is okay, but tagline, all right, not working. All right. But the Marcus Garvey Drive situation is causing a build-up now along Spanish Town Road. So if you're coming from the 6-9 days, you're going to have long lines of traffic. If you take it on to Spanish Town, once you go into the vicinity of the overpass, you're going to have long lines out there. And if you're trying to make it around Marcus Garvey Drive, it's going to be slow moving. So be aware of that. Yes, I'm hearing about that accident. All right, so those there. But in the other areas, though, along Lines Road, going into Harper Tree, Lisa Park Road, they're going to cross the South Road, then Harper Tree Square, Hope Road, Waterloo Road, Kingsway. You also experience lots of traffic in those areas at this particular time. So here we go. My second report for the morning. I just said a great weekend. And as usual, we want to see you back on Monday, 6:45 a.m. It's back to you, George, with the studio.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow McLean there with Street Smart 1. Up next, front page.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Front page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. All right, so just to clear up some information we gave you earlier, we got the report that the motor vehicle crash involving the motorcycles and the bus was this morning on Marcus Garvey Drive. Now we're being told it was last night. So the particulars are the same, it's just that the time is different. So rather than happening this morning, it happened last night on Marcus Garvey Drive. And the traffic situation is caused by an issue at the toll plaza. So Garvey Drive traffic, as Ludlow was saying, caused by situation where the tag lane is the only lane working. Well, the tag lane and the toll plaza is where the problem lies this morning. That's the largely responsible for the traffic situation along Spanish Town Road, Marcus Garvey Drive. I don't know about the other parts of the corporate area, but what we reported at 7 concerning the 4 motorcyclists and that crash with the Toyota Coaster bus, that was last night rather than early this morning as we were originally told.
Turning our attention now to our discussion segment, the front page, getting reactions to Capri's study on women's involvement in organized crime. Despite growing narratives about women's expanding roles in organized crime in Jamaica, available data does not support the claims. That's according to Director of Research at the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, Capri, Dr. Diana Thorburn. Dr. Thorburn says while police reports, media coverage, and some academic literature suggest that women are taking on more strategic roles in gangs, the data tells a different story.
Women are more commonly involved in non-violent offences such as drug trafficking and financial crimes. Women commit far fewer violent crimes than men do. Women rarely directly commit violent crimes. When they do, it's almost always in domestic settings or personal disputes or conflicts, not in gang-related shootings. And the most prevalent form of domestic violence committed by women in Jamaica is violence against children. Women's involvement in serious violent crimes is marginal. Less than 3% of those arrested and charged for Category 1 crimes in 2021 were women. For murder alone, women accounted for just 2% of all arrests. Women made up some 4% of gang-related arrests in 2024.
She was speaking at the launch of Capri's latest study, Hits and Misses, Women in Organized Violence, on Tuesday. The report examines the role of women in organized crime and violence in Jamaica. particularly their involvement in gang-related activities. The study found that official statistics largely fail to capture the extent of women's roles in organized crime. Dr. Thorburn notes that this may be due to underreporting, underdetection, or entrenched narratives that position women primarily as victims or facilitators rather than as active participants.
What this means is that it is possible that traditional crime data is missing aspects of women's involvement in organized violent groups, and that the reality is likely more complex than the extremes of either exaggerating or dismissing women's roles in organized crime. We do have other sources of evidence that help us understand their involvement. From these sources, it is clear that women have been active in organized crime for some time, even if their roles are less visible than men's.
Dr. Dana Thorburn, Director of Research at Capri. The research was conducted over a 3-year period from 2021 to 2024. Joining us for a reaction now is Professor of Gender, Sexuality and Psychology, Karen Carpenter. Good morning to you, Professor.
Good morning. Good morning, all.
Thank you so much.
Good morning to your audience as well. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. Now, through the research, Dr. Carpenter, it has shown that women aren't pulling the triggers, but they facilitate crime. That's their involvement. They may be collecting the extortion money from the person who does the extortion to pay legal fees, or they may be hiding guns or participating in the transportation of guns and drugs or collecting the guns after a crime has been done. This aligns with the long-standing narrative that has been out there in relation to women and their involvement in criminal activities and gangs.
Well, I don't know if it aligns with it as much as. All right, let's disaggregate the argument into what is the actual research done by persons like, for instance, Herbert Gale, and what is the narrative, the casual conversation that we've been having, which suggests that women are far more involved in the violence committed within gangs. When we look at the research as opposed to the narratives that we're carrying, then we do see that the research shows that their involvement is strategic. I believe your readout at the top of the argument suggested that their role was not strategic, as opposed to what Capri is finding is that their role is deeply strategic, but may not be pulling the trigger, which is a difference. Yes, we are seeing lots of, and I refer to things like Netflix, Queen of the South, and other kinds of narratives and stories that tell us that women are in fact pulling triggers, etc., etc. What Capri is saying is that's not what they found.
So, if you could, Professor, as somebody who has been around for a while, tapped into different research that has been done on the matter of women and their involvement in organized crime, if you could lay out for our listeners what has been placed on the table over time about women's involvement in criminal activity as well as their involvement in gangs.
Well, I think, and I would have thought that our Capri colleagues have done so very adequately. It would have been nice to have them with us. What they have in fact shown is that women, and I want us to stress that notion of organized, that this is not just crime, this is organized crime, that women are in fact part of the organizational structure that supports the crime, that women are involved in information gathering, in sometimes identifying the would-be victim, in, as we heard from the Deputy DPP on the forum at the launch, involved also in the ammunition storage, involved in having the keys to the ammunition and guns, etc., and also in financial management. So while it's a behind-the-scenes kind of involvement, it certainly is critical to handling the money, making the gang profitable, and also in decision-making that may not be seen on the streets.
And Professor, if you could, what influences or what would be the pull factors that causes a Jamaican woman to be in a gang or participate in criminal activities?
Well, I think any pull factor that would cause any other woman. For instance, I lived in Mexico for many years where, we have notorious gangs as well. Anywhere in the world where you see gangs and wars, women are naturally going to be an integral part. One is going to be familial relationship. You may actually be part of that family. Another one is that you might be associated through a romantic relationship to the persons who are in the top tier of the gang. And third, it may be for economic and status and other kinds of protections that you're looking for. So these are some very common human drivers for involvement. I think as well, if you think about crime and crime prevention, we know that crime prevention increases where crime detection and forensic evidence is better. Yes? So in the absence of being able to point a finger to a woman, it becomes relatively risk-free for a woman to be involved in the organizational structure.
We're speaking with Professor Carpenter on this matter of women's involvement in organized crime, gangs, criminal activity. Research was done by Capri on the matter. We're getting her reaction to it. Going to take a break and come back with more from Professor Carpenter.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:31.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, or 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
If them a hide and a bribe, you know we not sleep. Extortion them want, you know that not key. Fight against corruption, turn up the heat. Load up the kickback and fraud when you see. Anti-corruption, join in the fight. Let's come together and make this right. When you see wrong, you feel open your mouth. Now there's a new avenue for speak out. We need a reduction. Make we fight against corruption.
The Integrity Commission is working towards Jamaica, where there's integrity, accountability, and transparency in public service, where acts of corruption by persons in public office will be investigated and dealt with transparency and accountability. Stand with us in the fight against corruption. Call the Integrity Commission Anti-Corruption Hotline 876-926-0001.
Make we fight against corruption.
Digicel, live life your way, no free what? Digicel postpaid. With Digicel postpaid, it's all about you. Sign up or pay your bills to stay active for a chance to win a luxurious all-expense paid trip for two to Royalton, Antigua. With round-trip flights on us, every week you could win exciting prizes. Event tickets, gym memberships, spa packages, excursion adventures, restaurant vouchers, and more. When you opt in on the My Digicel app, life your way starts now with Digicel. Better connected.
Promotion ends March 31. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Wagwan Jamaica, the Cove Side Concert Series got a combo for you. Pay $20,000 and attend two big concerts. First one drop. Saturday, February 22nd, Barrington Levy Grams Morgan, Luciano, and Dance Expression. The same ticket gets you to Timeless, Saturday, March 29. You get to see Dionne Warwick, Myrna Hague, Dwayne Stevens, and Queen Marcia Griffith. We've got a Cove Side combo deal for you. Saturday, February 22nd, Barrington Levy Grams Morgan, Luciano. Then Timeless with Dionne Warwick, Myrna Hague, Dwayne Stevens, and our Queen Marcia Griffiths. The Cove Side Concert Series.
Tickets at coveside.aitis
at Plantation Cove, St. Anne, Jamaica.
Hits and Misses was the name of the study done by Capri and shared with the public earlier this week, looking at the role of women in organized crime. And Professor Karen Carpenter says we must pay particular attention to the organized in all of that, because women's roles are strategic, not necessarily on the front line, but it doesn't mean that their role is less important in the broader scheme of organized crime. Welcome back, Professor Carpenter.
Thank you.
All right. So you said something going into the break I'm going to pick up on, the fact of the legal side of it, because the way we investigate crime, where the police zero in on the trigger man, I'm saying it that way specifically, trigger man, and that then satisfies them that, okay, we can close out this case, and that's what goes into reporting that a case has been solved, resolved, a person arrested, charged, placed before the court, the prosecution happens, the person is put away, that's it. But there are often a lot of loose ends left in terms of the ecosystem that curated that trigger man to going in and doing what he did, and often that is where the women play the role, but of course the statistics won't pick them up because, again, the way we investigate crime is focused on getting the trigger man, and so the role of women may not necessarily be accurately reflected in the data that Capri was able to study and then pronounce findings on. Is that correct?
Well, we go after crimes that are prosecutable. If you remember, George, the deputy DPP also mentioned that when women come before the courts, they are treated in a gendered way in terms of their sentencing. So we have a predisposition, certainly, to be very stereotypical in our gender attitudes. And therefore, the women may not be sent to the front line to commit a crime. But as you say, out of the 488 gang-related arrests that Capri reported, only 19 of those were women. So if you can't prosecute the case, then you're not going to go after that person, because the emphasis in our crime management is on prosecution.
Yeah. And especially in a limited resource environment where you would waste it going after something that you probably wouldn't get a conviction for.
I call it, instead of saying women are invisible, I would say women are shadows. They move. You know that old song, You Move Like a Shadow?
Yes.
Okay, so they move like shadows. So you would not necessarily be able to pin anything on them because they have greater flexibility in the spaces that they can enter into. We must also look at expendability. Who is expendable? The woman who's a mother, the daughter, the lover, the organizing force may not be as expendable. Yes? I know it's a harsh reality, but it stands up.
You said something elsewhere which is very fascinating on reflection in my mind. You said that we don't appreciate how regimented, structured, gang organization is, to the extent that if you don't play the role strictly as laid out for you, you're going to be in trouble. So are we to take from that women in organized criminal gangs are less likely to break the order and go and do something maverick, like take a gun that they have possession of and kill someone, rather than than the way a man would behave?
Well, I don't know that the men are more likely to do it, although we do know that men tend to do more risk-taking, especially physical risk-taking, as they get older, and especially in that 21 to 31 age group. If you look at prisons, you will find that this is where a lot of prosecutions take place. It's where a lot of young men enter prison.
Yes.
Yes, quite young, and by about 31, 32, they're tapering off. I don't know that men are more impulsive than women, but I suspect that given how role-directed organized crime is, that you stick to your role. I don't know that gangs are, as I said with you, George, last night, that I don't know that there's this wild, wild west conception that we have that everybody's just shooting up everybody. There's a clear leadership structure. There are clear people who can give orders, and if you break the rules, then there are punishments for breaking the rules. Don't just go and take a life because you feel like it.
Yeah, but in this time when, so many things that were once male-dominated, women are now infiltrated or are infiltrating and taking leadership. Why is it that in the world of organized crime, based on what we're able to see from the available evidence, it is still so regimented and so male-dominated?
Well, again, I think we need to re-examine some of our definitional terms. When we say dominated, what do we mean? Do we mean the person who's expendable? The person who can get shot back at? Or do we mean domination in terms of decision-making?
Well, what I mean is the person who is feared. Because remember, organized crime also trades on he who is, the person who is feared, which is usually a he.
Yeah, you're right in saying he who is feared.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that those within the gang, because remember, we're speaking outside of gangs. We're not in gangs ourselves, right. Which I am not. And
I'm not either, and neither is Donna.
So I'm saying we're speaking on the outside. Fear has many faces. Fear is not just a fear of being shot or killed. There are other ways in which people influence the process, and we know that if the woman has the power to manage the money and is trusted to manage the munitions and money, then there is a degree of influence and power and quote-unquote domination that she experiences. But I don't know that it is unilateral. She's not autonomous to go out and make decisions on her own.
Yeah.
You have to respect leadership.
Yeah. Women, again, people looking at their roles in the gangs. Many people feel perhaps, well, not disappointed by what Capri has found, but they'll be conflicted because they're saying, well, when we see people sitting down at forums talking about the influence of women in criminal activity, and you hear that, yeah, man, a woman always know the women, them wash the bloody shirt, them hide the gun, they do this, they do that. Those people, and I'm talking from feedback I've seen on social media to the Capri study being published, are saying, well, what Capri has found does not align with the popular sentiment about the very important underlying role that these women are playing. What is it? The record collection has a deficit? Is that the data interpretation is dodgy? They don't know how to feel, and I'm wondering what to make of it all.
And I think we've become not wanting to, and not bashing the company, but we've become televised, Netflixized,
But you're not wrong,
that if it's not the way it turns out on a television screen, then it must be incorrect. Television is meant to entertain us. Television is not real life. So I don't understand the nature of the disappointment, to be honest with you, George, because I think the data is actually quite detailed, insightful, and lends, as a researcher myself, and lends to more research. I don't think that the role that Capri has highlighted that women play is at all less, in any way, less prosecutable perhaps, yes, and perhaps we show more lenience in the courts, as has been suggested. But I don't know that organizing the running of the gang in tandem with the men who go out and commit the crimes is somehow a lesser role. I'm not understanding what it is that we consider is less about that.
Yes.
Without that organization, the gang falls apart.
Yes. Yes, and without somebody who you can make a one phone call to, and they will get you a high-priced lawyer.
You need trustworthy people
Yes.
who can act and have influence and who know how to reach into the halls of power and get things done.
Yeah.
And I don't see that as an endless role.
What I'm thinking of from the report, the sections I've read, Professor Carpenter, is this: in a society that we acknowledge to be very violent and has been violent over decades now, what is it that spares young women from being contaminated with violence, similar to a young man growing up in the same society? So,
and this is where I'm disagreeing with you.
You disagree with me because I wanted to disagree with me. Yes.
Yes, I'm disagreeing
Yes.
that there's any less violent intent. I think the nature of how it is employed is different. And that is very much in keeping with our stereotypical views of what women think and do and the roles that they should play. But I think, again, when we look at what happens in the household where children are brought up to be violent, it's women who come out as perpetrating the violence against children. Among those children are both boys and girls. A person doesn't get up one day at 21 or at 18 and say, I'm going to take up a gun. There are precursors to that. There's an exposure to violence. And if you look at the ecological model, it tells you that it starts in the home. It starts with a one-on-one. Then it goes into your community, then the larger society. And you have this extrapolation from violence in the home to violence in the society. Yes?
So hold on, Professor. If you're to help me to correct my own thinking, then, so you're saying then that it's not that the young woman and the young man growing up in the same Jamaican society over time, but that the young man is more disposed, that the woman is less disposed to violence than the man. It's that the woman's violent tendencies manifest in a different way. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that is what is permissible in our gender stereotypical world. But the fact that women are perpetrating violence against their children is still violence, and the violence received by children is then experienced by us as societal violence. This is a kind of violent grooming. If you understand what I'm saying.
I understand you clearly because
Yes,
the study does say that 80% of children in homes are abused.
And they're abused
by women. Yes.
In large part. And that in itself is some research that we have to look into more closely. We know that people who abuse are themselves abused.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we know these things. We know these correlations. So perhaps we have to look at the nature of and the degree to which children who are treated violently in the home become fodder for the gangs later on by the time they're 16, 17, 18.
Yes. Words
So
to live
roles
by.
differ, but I don't think that there's any less capacity. In fact, I think sometimes women's violence can be more insidious because it's harder to detect.
Mm-hmm.
It is more thought out. Psychologically, women will plot and plan. What we call, revenge is a dish best served cold.
Yeah. Man acts on impulse, the woman would plan.
Well, I don't know that a man
Yeah,
only acts on impulse, but a woman may take longer to plan a strategic approach
Yes.
to her violence.
Yes.
But it doesn't take away from the violent nature.
Yes.
And again, when you think about women bearing children, women are less expendable than men. We need one man in order to produce a nation, but we need many women because gestation is 9 to 10 months. Yes?
There you go.
So we will always be willing to sacrifice men at a higher rate than women because we need a nation to keep going.
Understood. That's why we need experts for programs like these. Thank you this morning for your time, Professor. All the best. Really
You're very
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Have a good day.
Good. Professor Karen Carpenter there, adding much needed perspective to the Capri study. Read the study, people. Read the study, man. Hits and misses. It will broaden your understanding of the issue. And as I said, I've looked at the feedback on social media, and almost as if people are raging that the findings don't bear out what they think anecdotally. That you have more gun girl and gun woman than any time before, and that women are, playing a prominent role in gangs on the front line. They're saying not so. Their data doesn't support that. But behind the scenes, the organizing of the criminal activity, women have roles to play
strategic
there.
role is very much there.
Yeah, and as the
Very
senior
much there.
DPP says,
they are parts of the planning.
yeah, the senior DPP says it's difficult to prosecute people who the evidence is difficult to tie down and tie them down to, but you just know that they're involved in the planning and the organization.
And the law is there. The anti-gang legislation is there
for when
for when you have the evidence, the intelligence, and it leads you there and you gather it, you can take in those women who are part of a criminal organization and are facilitating the carrying out of killings and robberies and all other crimes.
Absolutely.
Listen up, motorists. Speeding burns more gas. So slow down. The life you save may be your own and also that of your loved ones. Slow down. Save lives and money. The time by the Insurance Association of Jamaica is
7:47.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
JPS. Aye, my JPS app. The mobile app, brave as I said hot. With the mobile app, you feel know you can't flop the app. In a happiness, cause what? My JPS app easy, turn a riddle my light off it bright than the moon. If I want thing me love for me JPS app, me I tell you about it in the tune. My JPS app easy, turn a riddle for me light off it bright than the moon. If I want thing me love for me JPS app, yeah we fully outside with the crew.
JPS, pouring what matters.
My Mega
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Turning our attention now to play for you some excerpts from the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang's speech at a handing over ceremony earlier this week. The National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, sought to reassure the public that the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is not operating as a hit squad. His statement comes in response to the rise in police-related fatal shootings since the beginning of the year. Speaking at a recent JCF handover ceremony, Dr. Chang emphasized that the special operations aimed at capturing suspects is not a hit squad.
We understand that law and order, public safety and security is one of the pillars on which we build a strong economy and a safe society, important for the quality of life. And therefore we provide the police those tools, and they're making progress. But the only number I'm going to talk about is one of the numbers here. In due course, we'll talk about other numbers, right? Because, sometimes some people get excited to hear numbers and try things. But I'm confident, even if they hear about them, the officers today will take the necessary steps to prevent them, because one of the emerging features I can say, and I say it publicly now, is that as we have provided the resources, not finished, we still have to build stations all over the island, repair some and others, but was emerging the previous outgoing commissioner and the support of a team here, and now Commissioner Kevin Blake, have expanded all aspects of the police force. Their intelligence is superior today than what it was before. So they know where the criminals are. I don't ask them where they are, but I know and understand that this commissioner and his team, supported by the intelligence CIB, know the criminals. We had an argument in the early years with some people in society, state of public emergency. The basis of any successful hard policing is that you know the criminals, you go for them. So you don't impair the rights of anyone. We do it without SOE as well. The commissioners have initiated a thing called focused deterrence. It's not a hit squad we have here. That used to be that's things of the past you can write in history. Structure that identifies individuals who are involved in criminal activity and build the files around them. Like we do. If I have a patient in hospital, I look for all that was happening to him for the last, from born, whether they have vaccine or not until him come, or whether they will have him had flu or whether it is, whatever it is here, you build a case so you can treat him properly. The police do the same thing, and that's all it means. And it is working very well. They commend the team, and that's police activity. I don't get involved in operation, but I get to understand it, because I have some very good officers. When they brief me not only clearly, but in a rational, logical way, so I understand it. And they develop the cases so they know them. And I can say to you out there, criminals know, the police know them. And when the case is built, they go for them. And when they hear they're coming, I advise them, please come in. We'll make sure you're treated well and go to the courts. We have a very conservative and a very good court system. And they have money, they hire the lawyers, that's their business. We have no problem, but they have to behave themselves. If they don't, we bring them in. If they attack the police, we still bring them in, maybe in another form. But we'll find them as they build out their intelligence, their investigative capacity, and of course their physical capacity. And underlying all of that is the fact that in providing those physical facilities is not what the solution is that I think the police force, by virtue of providing them with the tools and stop accusing them of all kind of things.
That's the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang. According to the latest update from the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, the police have fatally shot 50 people since the beginning of the year. Of this total, 22 fatalities occurred since the start of this month. This marks a significant increase compared to the 22 fatal police shootings recorded during the first 2 months of 2024. Dr. Chang emphasized that law enforcement is aware of the identities of these criminals and is actively compiling case files on them. He says the next step for the JCF is to apprehend these suspects, noting that the outcome will depend on how they respond when confronted by the police.
Policing is not a one-man business. Somebody just go out there. It's an institution of varied profession, a number of people with varied professional skills required to enforce law the correct way, right? They abuse police officers, human rights. We have less, but still come up from time to time. But the fact to prevent that, you have to have a complete police force. You have to have the intelligence, the investigators, individuals who will apprehend the heavily armed criminals. You can't send a man out there with kid gloves, but talk to a man with a bomb, with an AK-47, supported by a 45 in them waist, and you tell him to go out there and talk to him nicely, when he's going to kill somebody first. I don't want any of the commissioners, senior officers have to go to a house to talk to a gentleman's wife who is a police officer. I think other side, is that something that is easy for anybody? I went to one family in Stony Hill. For anybody else with the police force or with the institution, it's a tough thing. When the father leaves home to protect others, and him find the next day somebody come to tell him his children and his family, they're gone. So that body, if they draw gun in the police, we have to get rid of them. Not an issue of when or how. So we advise them come in, we know they only find them. But we have to create, when you create the right system, you have less of that. Because they know we can find them. That's why you will have reduction in violence. And we have to provide a system. And the investment of this government is to give the police that structure. And so I just want to reinforce that in the minds of the public, whatever time it is, the government is committed to building out a strong police force for law enforcement, to provide them with the tools they require to get the job done, which involves the right vehicles for the job. As you said, there's a spectrum of them here this morning, but different activity, whether motorbikes, pickups, or SUVs in the state they're in, but we provide the appropriate tool out there. We will continue to provide them with the technological changes required. And we have indicated, we have proceeded with the contract for a C5 center. I will mention that in closing because at another time we may go into that in depth. But there's a recurrent call for put cameras there. Get this, that piece of tool. Get traffic enforcement cameras and different cameras, body-worn cameras. Cameras are like, one of the key on the keyboard. If there's nothing to support them, they have very little value to the system. And if you try to set up an individual silo, it doesn't make sense either. Ultimately, you have to change that. Or if you have a telephone, you look, touch screen, it's whatever you touch on the screen that comes up. You have to have inside of it the brains to make it work. And that's all a C5 is, that we are providing the police with a central point where we can collect the data and make them even more efficient than they are today. So while I can say here boldly, this police know where the criminals are. They're going to come and find you. And they don't mean priority to. All the men who think them bad, they're no better than the police. We'll find them. And I commend the police to that, to support them, whatever tools I can do. But more critically, I'm providing the ecosystem in which the police can operate efficiently. So whether you're in Negril and breach the Road Traffic Act, or you're in St. Thomas and try to carry out a robbery, when the policeman find you, you'll be a database, we can come for you wherever you are and know who you are. And we'll have the information to carry to court. So, not that we want. We're not out there training our KR team or special ops team just because if you take us in combat, we are better. Fine. But the police is the front line of the criminal justice system. If you breach the law, we want to take you to court. And we build the case effectively and properly to do that.
There's no doubt about it, George, that this pivot of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, it's obvious that the capacity that they have now, their intelligence gathering has improved so much. It's as if the JCF is saying to you, I have hawk eyes. I know who you are. I know where you are. I'm building the cases about you, and I'm going to come for you. Right? And what the National Security Minister is saying, and what the Commissioner of Police has reiterated, is that when we come for you, surrender. We've built the case, we know who you are, and we're coming for you. We're going to find you. And when we come for you, surrender. If it is that when we show up, you try to shoot us, we're going to shoot back. Who has the superior training? In most cases, I'd like to believe the police. So who's going to end up dead or in the hospital? The gunman. And that is the message.
We carried a story yesterday with a clip from a mother.
Oh, yes.
The Ansness gang, who said she told the police about the gun he had hidden under the house. And the boy heard that she had reported him to the police and called her and told his own mother, "We will kill you." So when the police tackled them and they fired at the police, we were being told, and the police returned the fire and he died, that mother is celebrating today. Because she said, well, it's either you or me. You say you were going to kill me, and see that the police took you out. So I'm just saying that working within the confines of the law, JFJ have a very important role to play. Very, very important role to play. And they must keep up their advocacy, even as the police continue their work. Yeah.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
The time by Grace Good Move is
8:01.
Success, powered by learning. The Temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us, is
25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
In across Jamaica this Friday morning, the Princess Margaret Hospital in St. Thomas has taken steps to enhance patient service delivery through the introduction of a family care system. Speaking during a Jamaica Information Service think tank on Thursday, Senior Medical Officer Dr. Dwight Whittle explained that the system is designed to strike a happy medium between physicians and relatives of patients. He said the feature allows patients and their families to have a targeted conversation with physicians to discuss the patient's progress, as well as the resources that the hospital may or may not have and how they can negotiate the constraints. The SMO says the conversations will also allow families to express concerns they may have with the care being administered to their relatives. The closure of the Granville Police Station in St. James is source of frustration for residents of the community. The building was destroyed by fire in 2021. Councillor for the Granville Division, Michael Troop, says residents have to trek to other areas to access the services provided by the police.
What is happening here, if you have a small domestic issue, residents in those areas, retirement, Granville, Mud Valley, Gutters, Spar St. John's, they can't afford to find the little money that they want to go over the station to make a report. So just leave it there, germinate until it's a big thing. You can have murder, family dispute, all of that. So right now, if you have an issue in Granville, when you call the police, it takes them 2 hours because they only have one station over there. So end up with a big fight with the resident here.
Councillor Troop, along with opposition spokesman on national security Peter Bunting and a PNP caretaker for West Central St. James, Dr. Andre Horton, visited the area recently. Troop and Bunting say the establishment of a police post in Irwin is inadequate.
The sign says temporary, relocated to the Irwin police post. Now I recall when I was minister, that police post was actually donated by the developers of the scheme. And my recollection is that it was a gated community. So it is going to have restricted access to that police post. How does that work? If you go over there and you have an ID, you can't go in. So you go there to report a thing, you have to have an ID. A lot of people don't travel with their person ID, you can't go in. So that's the problem we're having. We're calling again on the Minister of National Security. Year after year we get promises. 5 years later, year 5, it happened in 21, so we have year 21, 22, 23, 24, and now we're in the 5th year of no action.
Peter Bunting, opposition spokesperson on national security, and Michael Troop, councillor for the Granville division. Mayor of Mandeville, Donovan Mitchell, has reiterated calls for motorists to exercise caution when travelling on the Spurtree Hill Main Road in Manchester. This follows Thursday's 3-vehicle crash involving 2 trucks and a fuel tanker.
We need to pay attention to the road code. I mean, you can't be too close to traveling vehicles, etc. But I'm appealing to persons using the roadways to be more conscious of what happens. So we're asking that even the police do periodic spot checks along these roadways to make sure that people are using the roadways carefully. There's a tendency for persons just to overtake or to speed along that piece of roadway there. So I'm appealing, please, this year we want to be free from most motor vehicle accidents in terms of fatality, because one life is too much, especially in these times.
A truck driver remains in stable condition in hospital. The man was pinned inside a delivery truck for close to 2 hours as firefighters worked to extricate him. His two colleagues escaped without injury. Reports are that one of the box trucks was heading down Spurtree when its brakes failed and collided into the back of another. The impact sent the second truck crashing into the back of the fuel tanker. Mayor Mitchell says he's hoping the government follows through on its plans to build an alternative to the Spurtree Hill Road.
We're looking forward to see if the government will be going to do the extra piece of highway to relieve some of the trucks going along the Spurtree Main Road there, because it is very steep, very problematic to persons who probably are using it for the first time.
Donovan Mitchell, Mayor of Mandeville. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Friday morning.
Let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic.
Are
you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Turning our attention now to a children's book review. Now, Veronica Blake Carnegie is a Jamaican author, educator, and former director of Ligony High School. A passionate storyteller, she has written books such as Dr. Tutu, Lizards of Ligony, and Doodle Doo Cock of the Walk. Through her work in education and literature, she has played a vital role in shaping young minds and preserving Jamaican heritage. These three books have been recognized by the National Museum of Jamaica and included in its list for Read Across Jamaica Day. In 2021, Carnegie was conferred with the Musgrave Bronze Medal in the field of literature. Mrs. Carnegie's contributions continue to make a lasting impact on both the literary and academic communities in Jamaica and beyond. For more on these books and the partnership with the National Museum of Jamaica, we're being joined by the retired teacher and author Veronica Carnegie, as well as Outreach and Education Officer at the National Museum of Jamaica, Alexis McDavid. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. Mrs. Carnegie, if you could talk to us about what inspired you to write Dr. Tutu, Lizards of Ligony, and Doodle Doo Cock of the Walk.
All right, let's start with, as you put it in that order then. Dr. Tutu was inspired by the whole business of teasing and nickname calling and fighting and some violence in the schools. And so I put out this man. He was too big, because that's one of the things that you're teased about. When you're too short or you're too fat or you're too whatever. And this man had everything too. So he is now in charge of trying to check the whole business of name calling and nickname and fighting in the schools. So I created this character. He was a teacher to the man on the cover there of the book you have in your hand.
Yes.
He was a teacher at Holy Childhood.
And then the other, the Lizards of Ligony.
The Lizards of Ligony, because people have been running from lizards for centuries.
Including me.
All right, you have to stop. After today, you will no longer run from lizards.
Why do you think so?
No, I know so. No, these lizards, and you notice that I created lizards because they are aristocratic lizards. Look at the cover. Lizards. It's a family of aristocrats living in Ligony. You know, that's the place where the iguanas lived. Because that's why it's called Ligony, you know. Liwanias, those of you who do the little Spanish know. It's the lizard plains. And so Ligony was named after the lizards. And so I thought, let me write a story, you know, so that people will no longer be afraid of lizards.
Okay. And for the other?
Doodle-doo now, cock of the walk. We have been writing about everything except our good roosters. Roosters, our fowls. Who has written about our beautiful fowls in Jamaica? And then we thought to let us do the cock. It didn't go so well at the launch because a lot of the men to the back kept laughing when I mentioned the cock did this and the cock did that and, you know, Jamaican thing. And one lady got up and she said she's not buying that slack book for her children.
Wow.
But the doodle-doo concentrates on fowls in Jamaica.
Yes.
And we have some beautiful fowls here too.
And clearly, based on what you have explained, Mrs. Carnegie, your book captures elements of Jamaican culture and folklore. Why was that so important to you?
Yes, mostly because, you see, I grew up in that time in Jamaica when we used to tell stories. The children don't get the stories, you know. He had Brer Nancy, Brer Tukuma, Brer this, Brer that. I don't know if you had it in your time.
Yes.
And so now we thought, now let us create something differently now. Let us write about that rooster. That rooster who is now out of his mind because, you know, the roosters have now gone mad and they are crowing throughout the day. Because they cannot get the hens are now layers. The roosters have changed their ways. They're looking after them. So we write about them now too, giving them importance and hoping that then the agricultural show will have a fowl display because we do have some beautiful fowls.
Yes. In particular, Mrs. Carnegie, from your book, Dr. Tutu, what message or lesson do you hope children can take from the story?
To teach respect for each other and also don't tease because it's the teasing that causes fight.
Yes.
Don't tease. Notice the nicknames. Turn to the nickname page and you'll see what we tease people about. You have no right to be teasing and mocking and ridiculing anybody because that short boy is not as tall as you are. Or who says that because you are fat, you're better than me and you call me skinny goat or whatever, you know? We want to try to stop the teasing that is going on in the schools, especially now.
Yes. And I want to bring Alex in as well. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, guys.
Yes. Why did the National Museum of Jamaica add these books to the list of books to read on Read Across Jamaica Day?
Well, what happened is that a few years ago, a colleague of mine introduced me to Mrs. Blake because we were trying to update our Taino exhibition at the museum.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw her book, Lizards of Ligani, and as she mentioned, the word Ligani is a Taino word for iguana.
Yes.
So just to bring in an update to the exhibition, we invited Mrs. Blake to come and talk to the students about, the Tainos, the iguanas, the history of how the Tainos and the iguanas, used to interact with each other, and then this more modern interaction with these aristocratic lizards. So it was a very well-received event.
Yes, I was going to ask about the feedback.
No, the feedback from the kids were really good. They really loved the book and the teachers as well. Because at the museum, we're always trying to think outside of the box of how to engage our students. As well as Mrs. Blake's stories are really great because they mix folklore, storytelling, and a little sprinkling of history. So that is why the National Museum always tries to collaborate with her. And as you mentioned early, she is a Musgrave winner.
Yes.
Which she got through the Institute of Jamaica, which the National Museum is a department of. So we always try to link with our Musgrave winners when we can.
So you said, Alex, that you've used the Lizards of Ligani in Read Across Jamaica Day. Any of the other two, Dr. Tutu or...
No, we're going to be using all the three books for this year. So I said a couple of years ago we did Lizards of Ligani to connect it with the Taina exhibition.
Right.
But this year, Mrs. Blake was very gracious to give us some of her books. So staff will be going out to the communities here in downtown as well as, in their own communities near their homes. And they'll be taking Mrs. Blake's books to read to the kids and to donate if they so choose.
Yeah, and Mrs.
To spread her literature.
Right, and when is that occasion?
So Read Across Jamaica is every year on May 6th, early May.
So early May.
So it's again to promote, early May. So it's to promote literacy because as we know, whether it's unfortunate or fortunate, a lot of kids are stuck on tablets. And there's nothing wrong with just relaxing with a good old-fashioned book.
Handheld books.
Yes.
Yes, Mrs. Carnegie, you were saying handheld books?
Yes, man, we want them to go out and hold the books and sit down under the mango tree or wherever and read the books.
And where can we find your books?
All right. We're now not located in any one place now, but we're going to give you a number and we're going to call. Whoever calls now, we'll tell them where to find the books now that we're now putting out.
Go ahead.
Help me with the number.
Right. While you find the number, Mrs. Carnegie, giving a final word to you, Alex? Giving a final word to you on the matter of reading in Jamaica, Read Across Jamaica Day, and Mrs. Carnegie's wonderful storytelling. Here she goes. 821-6422. 821-6422.
And they call that number and we'll direct them where to get the books.
Okay, wonderful. So, Alex, as we wrap, a final word to you.
Well, I would just like to thank Nationwide and yourself for inviting Mrs. Blake because she really deserves the recognition. I mean, she was a hard-working educator for years, and I'm a little biased because she taught my father history at the great Arden High, and my father remembers her fondly, and he's 79. So, Mrs. Blake,
my 94.
You're 94, so you're young, Mrs. Blake. So, and again, we want to recognize always at the National Museum our teachers. And, this project of Mrs. Blake is really amazing. So we just want to thank you for that. And if anybody would like us to come to their school to read any of Mrs. Blake's books, they can contact the National Museum.
Okay, wonderful. Alexis McDavid, Outreach and Education Officer at the National Museum of Jamaica, and retired teacher and author Veronica Carnegie. If you're interested in her books that we featured this morning, you can contact her 821-6422. Ladies, thank you so much for your time this morning.
And thank you too.
Thank you too.
All right, gonna take a break and come back with more.
Apply for your NHD refunds at nhd.gov.jm or via the NHD app. Do not click on any links offering to help you. The time by the NHD is
8:24.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
27 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 26 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 20 degrees Celsius.
Yo, my boss. Yo, my general. Yo, my king. The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. Plus crispy bacon, some stark-terrific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, stackify yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker. Built for satisfaction. Limited time. Only at Burger King.
826. Yes, 826. It sounds about right. Time now for more on Nationwide this morning. And now it's time for a chat with the Consular Queen, because in today's evolving immigration landscape, of course, things change every day. Individuals face uncertainty and challenges navigating U.S. immigration policies, and under the policies shaped under Trump's presidency, immigrants, especially those from the Caribbean, are encountering stricter visa regulations, increased scrutiny, and the pathways to residency and citizenship are evolving. The Consular Queen, Nordia Barrett Lewis, is a seasoned expert in consular affairs and immigration matters, and she has been a key advocate for Caribbean nationals seeking clarity and support in these very, very uncertain times. She joins me now for a discussion on what immigration looks like in this era of Donald Trump. Nordia Barrett Lewis, good morning and welcome to Nationwide this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Davis. Affectionately, George.
Yeah. Affectionately, yes. George. I like that.
Yes.
How are you?
I am well, thank you. And thank you so much for hosting me this morning.
I haven't seen you in a minute. Everything is good?
I have been around. I have been making the rounds to Jamaica and back here because, of course, you know that we are affected in some way, shape, or form as it relates to United States immigration, whether we choose to work, live, or play in the United States. So, of course, I'm from time to time, I would want to say sometimes twice per month, I'm in Jamaica, or at minimum once. So yes, I've been around. I've not gone any place.
Good. And I can tell the listeners that we've been friends since university days, yes?
Yes.
There you go. All right. So, Nordia, some of the biggest misconceptions people have about U.S. immigration laws. What are some of those?
All right. So, I want to touch on things from the perspective of my being also an immigrant. And I must say, I am a green card holder, not yet a US citizen. And that will happen at some point in 2025. You will see that blue passbook, you know,
Yes.
but let's jump onto that. So one of the biggest misconception that has been happening, because persons are even seeing individuals being pulled from places. There was a popular case in Florida where a gentleman came out and he said, listen, my wife is going through her citizenship process and she has court next week. And imagine ICE did this. They detained her, right? So let's pull the case apart. So the first thing is Native Americans don't really know or speak to the process of going from a non-citizen, green card holder, then citizenship. They always see it as you're coming as a foreign national and you are sorting out your citizenship. That's how they see it. They don't see that in-between section, right? So that's number one. So what I could say about that particular case is that this person is going through the process of legalizing themselves here, right?
Yes.
The other thing is, ICE took her and she has a court date already for next week. The fact that this individual has a court date, that also tells us that there is something going on in the background. Normal cases, when you're doing your green card, trying to become a legal permanent resident, normal cases don't require you to go to court. So if you hear that somebody is going to court, then there is some underlying concern. I'm not gonna say issue because issue can be a strong word.
Yes.
But there's some underlying concern that they are possibly trying to fix at that time, which may cause them to be going to court. So of course, when we hear some of these things, we have to pick it apart and as best as we can work with professionals in having an understanding of what is happening. Because here what happened, a lot of what is happening is some emotional talking as well. Is there some unrest? Absolutely. I would not sit here and say to you that everyone should sit comfortably and there's no reason for them to feel anyway.
Yes.
I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, there's also some emotional factor, some emotional inserts that are taking place that is causing a little bit more than the level of concern that or fear that people should have.
Yes.
Let's just talk about the fact that, okay, if you are undocumented, and whether you're undocumented or documented, I will ask you stay away from putting yourself into problems. If you know anything about the United States, you will know that you're an American when everything is going well. And once you slip, become a Jamaican national, a Haitian national, you're from Belize, everybody knows where you're from once something goes off or goes left, right? So I'm saying we need to stay clear of making things like those happen to us.
Yes. Let me put this to you though. If for those persons who are seeking residency or citizenship and there was a way that they legally, of course, that they came to accept that they could take those steps legally to residency or citizenship, has that pathway or have those pathways changed since Trump came back into office?
All right, so I wanna point out one particular pathway, and that you'd have seen me advocating for and pushing behind, which is that of the employment-based national interest waiver. That is professionals. You're professional. You're carrying out these expertise. You don't live here, but you can self-petition for yourself because guess what? You qualify and your qualification and expertise is in shortage here.
Yes.
And therefore the United States needs you, and they're saying we'll waive you getting an employer to come here. Simply petition for yourself and come on in. We need you.
Yes.
That has not changed. That has not changed. But what I want to do is to go back on the family-based side of things to say, if you're here and you're undocumented, even though you may not fall afoul of the law, please make it your duty to start getting documented. Don't sit comfortable to say, oh, I'm not a foul of the law. First of all, you are undocumented. So you're in this space.
You're already in the firing line.
You're already in the firing line, right? So start doing something about that. As it relates to the humanitarian side of things, though, yes. And as recent as yesterday, we would have seen something with Haiti, that there is some temporary protected status that is available or was available for them. And come August, it's going to be no longer. How many people will be affected? We're looking at 520,000 Haitians. So are we saying that there are changes? Yes. So in some cases, there's no change. In other cases, yes, there are changes.
So importantly, so you're saying that the temporary protection for some Haitian migrants were undocumented. That existed before. Come August, that would be removed. But overall,
that will be done.
Right. So overall, if you have been working there and you have skills that are not plentiful in the U.S., you can self-petition. You're saying that facility remains.
That facility remains, but here is the catch to it. You must remain documented. You must be in status. You must remain in status. So if you're out of status, that doctorate that you have and the expertise gone through the door, because they're saying you come clean. You're really squeaky clean coming in. You have never overstayed. You have never done any of those things. And yes, you can get this green card.
Yeah. The rights and options. Now, you'd appreciate that in these times people don't know what their rights are. Well, are wondering if their rights remain the same as they were before Trump returned. The options open to them as they seek legal residency, they seek citizenship, they seek to be in the U.S. legitimately. Those rights, those options overall, how much of those have changed, if at all?
All right, so one thing I will say to any person, and it's a simple sentence: follow the lines of the Constitution. You cannot go wrong with that. Because guess what? The Constitution cannot be changed with a stroke of a pen. It has to be changed going through processes. And a lot of those processes is not something that will end in a month, 2 months. It will take years.
Yes.
And the one that people talk about a whole lot is that of children born to foreign nationals here in the United States. And when we say foreign nationals, we're talking about none of either parent doesn't have documentation for the United States, right? None of the two. However, the child is born on the soil. Now, they would have tried this in 1988 to get this out, to say, oh, you cannot acquire citizenship this way. And it went, it went no place. And right now that it's being tried again, it's blocked in the courts. So as it is right now,
yes.
Birth tourism is not okay. Right. Birth tourism is not okay. That has always been illegal and remain illegal, right?
Yes.
Nonetheless, if the child is born here, the child remains a U.S. citizen. As of today, just the same, that has not changed. Are there talks about it? There are talks. Is it blocked in the courts? It's blocked in the courts.
As things stand,
it's in the Constitution.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Constitution doesn't change with the stroke of a pen.
I like that from you. If you follow the Constitution, you won't go wrong. But as things are changing daily, and the measures that the Trump administration the measures that they're trying to implement are some of them blocked by the courts. When do you anticipate that things will settle down and so people can be certain about what to do, what not to do, what course to take, what course to not even bother attempting to take? Do you see the situation settling in the short order so people can be clear, or do you sense that there'll be more upheaval as the months roll along?
All right. Beautiful question. And let me see how I can sum that for you. As you would have noticed, that there's a cut in federal employment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of federal workers are losing their jobs. How does that affect immigration? Immigration is federal. The taxes that are being processed is federal. And you can't file a petition without taxes, right? The paperwork, they are federal. Those paperwork have to be processed by federal staff members. So if we are making leaner, meaner teams, right? Chances are things gonna take some time and probably years before it gets to a place of settlement. And this lead me to say to individuals out there, given that you see all of this is affecting federal employment, right? Don't sit on the fact that you need to get up and do something about your document now, because what you may be looking at in the future is longer processing time.
Ah.
So if we have less workers, the processing time cannot be the same. It's unlikely that it's going to be the same because some people are gonna get hurt in the process.
Yes.
Who would it be? Chances are the immigrants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right. So the backlogs will lengthen. With less workers doing the processing, the wait time will increase perhaps exponentially. And so it's a very good point you make, Nordia, that with the cuts and the layoffs, all of those things, it could be a frustrating time for people whose applications for various things are pending. Your 5-year wait could double, your 3-year wait could double, or it could even stretch for longer than that. So it's a difficult and an uncertain time, which is a double problem that nobody wants to have, eh?
Exactly. So I'm gonna say it's better to have your case pending and you're walking around with your receipt notice in pocket. And if you're asked or stopped by ICE and they're questioning whether or not you are in the process, because once you're in the process and it's not okay enough, for me, my recommendation, personal recommendation, it's not okay enough to be going through the process and have your documents at home. Keep them in your wallet, because you may save ICE the time then to know that, listen, I am going through a marriage-based petition. This is my receipt notice. If you have nothing to show, word is going to just be wind. So I'd say to you, get in line. It's best to have your documentation pending, and at least you have your receipt notices, and when you're moving about, you can show and share where necessary to make sure that you are okay and you're not moving around fearful because you have something in process, you have something pending. And I would like to touch on the outside, the consular side of things. I'd like to touch on the outside.
Yes.
Now more than ever, people need to pay attention to how they are also utilizing those visas that are given to them for the various purposes.
Get into that. Yes, I want to hear you on that.
Yes. Now more than ever, they need to pay attention. Listen, it's not okay to go to the embassy now to get a B1, B2, a visiting visa. And you'd have given them on your documentation your last how many years of work, up to the point of you seeing the officer, you're working. And you got that visa. And then the next thing you know, you're in the United States for 5 months. What job do you have outside of the United States that give you that kind of time off? Right. That can be interpreted. So you leave that kind of time frame to interpretation. And the next thing you know is either one of two things. You may not get entry the next time around, or you go to renew the visa and it's not renewed.
Yes.
And you're not understanding why this is not happening. Also, when people are coming on those kind of trips as well, they like to use their phones a lot. So all kinds of communication is in the phone. And when they're stopped and they look at the phone, and then they can interpret information from the phone as you come in to carry out some form of work employment on a visiting visa. So now you're not using it for the purpose it's meant for, and they're seeing evidence of that. You know that that's going to be an issue. That's going to be a ban for a duration of time. And a lot of the times, these bans are not lifted in terms of you getting back a visa, but more so somebody have to petition for you somewhere down the line. And when that petition is also done, then you have to pay some big money to get a waiver done. Some things that we can actually avoid.
Yes. May I ask you also about those journalists, Nordia? Because I know over time that journalists have gone to the US to do work, but they travel on their B1, B2, and it is that they should be using an I visa. How stringent do you expect them to be where watching those things are concerned?
All right. So I'm going to say, use the permits, because I would have started out by saying, use the particular visa for the purpose it's meant for. Because with the B1, B2, it leans to visiting and conferences, and you may have medical issues and so on. It surrounds, and it sometimes can be a little murky in terms of, okay, so the journalist is coming to a conference. You know, it can kind of murky the water, so it can be interpreted that, oh, if she's coming to a conference, then that's what a B1, B2 does. You know, but if she's coming to carry out some journalism work now, then you're expecting her to have the appropriate visa. And what people also need to remember and also understand is that the visa is really an entry permit.
Yes.
When you get to the port of entry, them no must let you in.
Yes, yes. Absolutely.
You may not be right. You may not be let in. So this is going to be the second interview. So people only pay attention to the interview in the consulates, in the embassies, right?
Yes.
You do that second interview again every time you get to that port of entry for them to decipher that you're coming in for the right reason and you're using the right visa for the right purpose.
I'm getting the hurry up sign, Nordia. My producer says I'm out of time. But tell the listeners and the viewers how they can contact you, how they can reach out to you for more information and better particulars.
Okay. All right. So first of all, let me give my contact number. And if you have missed the name of my business, it's the Consular Queen LLC, and it's located in Atlanta, Georgia. However, I take care of work all across the world once you're interested in coming into the United States. My contact number is 470-593-8448. Contact number 470-593-8448. If you're having a challenge reaching out by calling straight, you can do a WhatsApp message. That also works.
Excellent. Thank you this morning, Nordia, and we'll catch up again.
Thank you so much, Mr. George.
Nordia Barrett Lewis there. She is the Consular Queen, expert on consular affairs and immigration matters, and she has been a key advocate for Caribbean nationals seeking clarity and support where immigration matters are concerned in these very, very uncertain times under Mr. Trump. More on the Nationwide this morning after these.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is
8:47.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Horton's RX, the caring pharmacy, the Yes We Can pharmacy, the Yes It's in Stock pharmacy, the House Call Delivery pharmacy, the RX Pack mobile app pharmacy, the RX Plus digital wallet pharmacy, the 20% reward pharmacy, the easy to remember number pharmacy, 876-RX0RXRX, the easy access 24/7 pharmacy, Horton's RX, the convenient pharmacy, #wellness, #simply delivered.
The future is here with Infinity Cooperative Credit Union Jamaica Limited. Educom and Gateway have joined forces to bring you more convenience, innovation, and opportunities to achieve your dreams. Enjoy excellent service and seamless financial solutions, all designed for your lifestyle. Whether it's loans, savings, or insurance, we're here to make your financial journey effortless. Infinity Cooperative Credit Union Jamaica Limited, where possibilities are endless.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
You're the hit on every corner. Gotta confess to you, girl, just what you're doing to this brother. You got my heart, my head, and my mind all burning with desire. And if ever I was given a chance, every bone in my body would give thanks. Now, baby, what do you expect from me? Now, should I stand in the middle of the road, let something run over me? Hey, so that I can get your full attention. Want to explain to you, you're the hit on every corner. Gotta confess to you, girl, just what you're doing to this brother. You got my heart, my mind, and my soul all burning with desire. And if ever I was given a chance, every bone in my body would give thanks. Don't let me cry to you, for a grown man crying is a sign of weakness. But I wouldn't lie to you, no, that you'd be just right for my fitness, girl. I'd walk a mile.
That time of the morning when we tell some very special people happy birthday. Happy birthday greetings going out to a VIB, a very important birthday here. Happy birthday, this one says, to my sister Dawn Marie Brown. Happy birthday to you, Dawn Marie, coming from your son McKean, your sister Novelette, and the rest of the family. They're saying to you, Dawn, we love you and appreciate you. Happy birthday greetings also going out, this one says, to my son Stephen Richards. Happy birthday to you. From SJ, Keisha, Alfonso, Omar, and Rihanna. Over on Facebook, happy birthday to Natoya Gilling, Donna Smith, Sparks Henry, Venice Dunn, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday as well to Hortense Guy and Chevanice Brian. It's your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Chevanice. Wishing for you a great day. Hopping on over to the YouTube chat, who is celebrating a birthday today. Drop those birthdays in the chat over here on Nationwide 90 FM Live 2.
Dreaming of one, love has begun, promising so much more. No one else can see.
Lorene Carr, tomorrow is your birthday. Lorene Carr here in our YouTube chat. So happy birthday when it comes, Lorene. Wishing for you a great day tomorrow. Joshua King, your birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, what you say?
Big up yourself, Joshua. Happy birthday when it comes from Daddy and Mommy and all of your fam bam and Auntie Patrice. Happy birthday when it comes tomorrow, Joshua.
Joshua!
How old will Joshua be tomorrow, Jermaine?
Let's ask his father.
Yes, Jermaine. How old will Joshua be tomorrow? 9 tomorrow. That is crazy. Yeah. Not crazy to you. I'm so big, so quick. Yeah. So happy birthday when it comes, Joshua. Tomorrow is your birthday. Amarildo Mackenzie sending happy birthday greetings to Robert Tiddy Beng Sinclair. Okay.
Tiddy Beng.
Yes. One more year upon them. This birthday greeting says greetings from the class of 86, One College. What's this? German sis. Yeah, bad mind. German King of Calabar. Yeah, bad mind. Happy birthday to you, yeah, Tiddy Bang.
Tiddy Bang. Bang, bang, bang.
Big up yourself. And Everton Harris is sending happy birthday greetings to his beautiful wife, Andrea Harris. Hey to you, Andrea. It's your birthday. He says God's blessings on you. So happy birthday to Andrea Harris from your husband, Everton Harris. Scrolling on down to see Maureen Thomas Brown sending happy birthday greetings to her son, Adrian, wishing for him many, many more. So happy birthday to you, Adrian, from your mom, Maureen Thomas Brown. Stacey and Campbell sending happy birthday to her mom, Christine. Christine, you're celebrating your birthday tomorrow. It's happy birthday when it comes from your daughter, Stacey Ann Campbell. And any other birthday? Not seeing any other. So if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well.
Girl, I can't live without your love. Are you feeling what am I feeling? It's the power and the strength of love, yes. You can always count on me, 'cause loving you, it's easy. I love you higher than anyone can count. No end to the amount of love I have, and you inspire what love is all about. Girl, I can't live without your love. I love you higher than anyone can count. No end to the amount of love I have, and you inspire.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
Well, Tana, if you think that Benjamin has the bad, listen to that one, you know.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Big tune.
Leave it to time. Jesus. Mr. King, squeeze it again. I don't know how much time. Let me squeeze it again. Squeeze it again, Mr. King. Squeeze it again.
Leave it to time.
A pure bad tune up on every man. AJ Brown, father, my friend.
Yeah. That's a good
Gregory
one.
Isaacs.
It's a while since I've been trying to get it on with you, but you keep on saying you don't know what to do. Don't know much about you, yet you're always on tune. So all you gotta do is leave it to time. Everything will be fine. Time
Time to go away from the show. Time for Tana to sit in Nora's chair. Time for Cliff used to wake up out of his bed.
Baby, it's true.
I see a final birthday here. Nehemiah Foster sending happy birthday greetings to Angela from Nehemiah. So happy birthday to you, Angela. Wishing for you a great day. Again, the greetings coming from Nehemiah Foster here on YouTube.
Jesus, please. The man draw for Kevin Jackson. Yeah, man say. There are lots of signs in life. One day, you know, somebody had told me say Sanchez don't sing original tune. So me drop this. Them say, alright, apologies. Hold up your heads, my brother. Be conscious, my sisters. And by your works you shall surely be paid. Never driving is the don't this. Don't do it. Don't do it.
As we wrap the show, seeing another birthday here before we go. Chrissy Toyloy sending happy birthday greetings to Sister Dinah from Dart and the family and her daughters and her grandkids. Wishing for you many, many more to come. So happy birthday to you, Dinah. But that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, thanks so much to our technical operator, Jermaine King, the musical maestro. Thanks as well to our super producer, Michelle McCray Smith, and our super editor, Kimone Thompson. Up next, the Consumer Hour with me. And at 10, Cliff Hughes Online.
It's a beast.
I'm Tana.
Yeah, Tana. Hey, Joshua King. Me and my friend Z on the NZ.
Smoking Sensi.
What we do?
Live it up.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Rocking and jigging to songs of all ages.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Your taxes hold the key.